Alright, now flip over your packet then. What is different about E? What's different about this one than all the rest of them? As far as your answers go. What's different about this one than all the other answers? The plus or minus. Very good. It's plus or minus, so that means E has how many answers? Plus, minus, that is 2 answers. So E has 2 answers for Y. So the answer in part D indicates that for certain values of X, there are 2 values of Y. What does this mean? What does that mean about that function? Y'all aren't going to talk to me today? Not you. You always talk to me. Cade, what does that mean if the X has 2 different Y values? What does that mean?
Oh, goodness. I don't know if that's good.
It's not good because it's not a what?
It's not a function.
It's not a function. Very good. So it is not a function. Because this equation doesn't represent y as a function of x, the function f of x equals x squared does not have an inverse. Okay, and an easy way to tell that just by looking at graphs is using the horizontal line test. So the vertical line test is when we check if it's a function. This is when we're checking if it has an inverse. So horizontal means side to side, right? So the same way you use vertical line test, you use your pencil to do horizontal line test. And if it touches your pencil in more than 2 places horizontally, it will not have an inverse. So for A, let's just circle the ones that don't have an inverse. Does A have an inverse?
No.
Yes. Put your pencil sideways, horizontal, and it doesn't touch it in more than 1 place.
So an inverse.
It does have an inverse. Does this one?
No.
No. So circle it. Does the next one?
No.
Correct, because if you do this, it touches in 2 places.
Yeah.
And does this one? Yes. Very
Yeah.
good. Alright, so do the number 3 on your own. Just circle the ones that don't have an inverse. And that one is which one? Which ones did y'all circle?
A.
B or C? Nope.
Wait, were we circling ones that
Do not have an inverse. So this one doesn't have an inverse, doesn't pass the horizontal line test. B does, and so does C. Because this is not going straight across, it's going at an angle right here. Okay. Alright, now let's talk about how do we graph inverses. So we figured out how to find them yesterday with functions. Now let's figure out how to graph them. So the graph of, what does this say? No. Inverse of f is a reflection of the graph of f about the line y equals x. And you can't really see it, but this is the line y equals x, the identity function. So the inverse flips across this line every time. So basically what happens is any point that you have, let's say xy, for the inverse, let's say this is on f, for the inverse you just swap them, your x and y coordinates. That's all. So if like 1, 2 was on the original function, we would plot what for that point? 2, 1. You just swap them. Okay, so flip it over. Do I need to go back? Sorry. Everybody got that down? Okay. So for this one, they give you the points. 4, 2, negative 1, 0, negative 3, negative 2. So instead of 4, 2, we're going to graph what? 2, 4. Instead of negative 1, 0, 0, negative 1, and instead of negative 3, negative 2, it would be negative 2, negative 3. You just swap them. So I want you to graph these points. on the same coordinate plane. -3. And then go ahead and draw the inverse function. And you can see it flips over, I'm going to draw the line, y equals x, which is this line. It's reflected across that line. Alright, do 5 on your own. So graph both of those inverse functions. To check them, just make sure they flip over that same line. Why did I draw 3 lines? This is showing what it should reflect over. Y equals x. That comes from your notes that we just took. You don't have to draw it. I was just showing you what it should look like. Yep. Thank you. Alright, go ahead and compare your graphs. If you're still working, just keep working. Can I borrow your style? Alright, this one is correct. Number 5. Go ahead and compare your graph. Should look like this. And then here's number 6. And this is also correct. And you can tell because it looks like it's flipping over this line. Any questions about those two? Alright. So you are working on that worksheet I gave you yesterday. And I'm not going to make you do all of them, just the even ones. You can work with somebody or by yourself if you would like. Yes, function inverses. And if you can't fit them on that paper, make sure you get them on something else. Let me know if you need help. Yeah, you can check. I hope not.
So you locked it?
I just did.
Then what if it's one?
Okay. So if you decide not to work on that, or this assignment, that's fine, you'll just get a 0. If I see you on your phone instead of working, I will take it.
Thanks for working on your We do it even.
Yes, you can listen to music.
Why? I'm just kidding. What? It was my fault this morning. I couldn't find my other
These are the original ones. They're dates. There's 2000 up here. Right there. Then there's two.
She said don't even watch that.
Okay. And we're doing it. So it's going to look like. I don't know where this one came from. It's not right. Is this one? That one looks pretty good. Look. Let's go back. Let me get a marker. 0.235 is. These are your X's. These are your Y's. Which one's your X-axis? Okay, so do the 3 on your X-axis. Now go back. Okay, go back. 0.2 meters. Figuring out here first, so I'm looking to find F of G. Yes, that's fine. So now you shoot it. Round up first. If you're figuring out if they're inverse functions, you're trying to find what 2 things. You have to mix. I'll be right there, Miles. These are the ones we do. Yes. So find F of G first. So F of G, you're looking at what function first? Yes, and you're actually only do the even problems. So F of G first, so you're looking at F, right? And we're not going to put in, we're going to replace that with something. What are we going to replace that with? Start with F, we're going to talk away then. Yes, so tell me what G is. You see what I did there? I just wrote this problem and instead of the end, put this in for n. So from here, this is 6 over 1 times this, right? Well, the 6 and 3 are going to be what? 6 divided by 3. Yeah.
You've got to do each time.
So here we'll have -5. To the side was 2 times -12. And -2 times 2. Okay. So now we have -5 minus 24, that's going to be like -29. So I just want my phone. And this is what I have left. So in order for them to be inverse functions, this has to equal what? Yes. Is this going to end up being x or n? We'll just stop there. These are not inverse functions. Does that make sense? Okay, try the next one. Yeah, it does. This is the same. We're going to find a 0 first. So right here, this part is -2 is going to distribute here, right? Let's do this. -12 plus -2 times -5. And then -2 and this is all over 5. And this is all over 3. So now let's start with -12 divided by 3. And all of these are just put change, right? Equals what this to what? Okay. So this will be 2 times 12 over what? Okay, so we can stop over here. Is this going to take a lot to this one? In order for me to do this function, we're going to have to take 4x. In this case, this is going to be a positive 0. And stop there. Not good. That was it. Okay, so this right? So you need to point here, right? Okay, so this is going to take our median. You can stop there. So you don't have to look at the whole problem. If you see it's not going to be this good, these two are Where'd you put what you Yeah.
You do number.
I don't know if it's right, don't copy.
I'm not gonna copy that. So see what you just.
I don't
Right next to?
Yeah.
One big point in there, when we're saying that.
Does what make any sense?
Howard to that.
I don't know. What the teacher?
So why don't you even look at it?
was like, well, when you're multiplying, you don't have to have a common. You said it's just maybe 7 times. When you're adding, subtracting, it's not common. No, I was not flirting with you. No, I was not. I promise I was not. Never. He's too God. He's leaving first priority in the world. I don't think they would. So God would. Stop. All snatchers? Yeah. All snatchers. I want it.
Right here.
Oh, apparently.
Now we have some nominating, right? So that would be what? Okay, so that has yes, projects that what? Alright, so now what do you say? We have negative 12, 14. And whatever this is, doesn't matter. Literally, it's like this. These you can combine them, that's fine, it's not gonna change this, because you put a minus here. Now, once you do that, this is not gonna be.
Is this one different from this one?
Yeah, they're all different.
Well, like, it's not like the same, like, you know, like.
Format?
Yeah. And I was, like, do I do the same way I did this one?
Exact same one?
What'd you need for 12?
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Watch these.
I'm not trying to trick you. Try it. I'll come back and help you.
I need help with both of these.
Okay.
Because this one, like, I think I'm confusing.
Alright, let's write it. Let's start here.
Is this one right?
Yeah. Let's start here, because this looks good. Okay? Right here, what's going to happen to these twos?
The twos are going to cancel.
Yes. Let's go back here, though. So you multiplied everything by 2 to get rid of it, right?
I need to walk in it though.
To get rid of these. Yeah. That looks good. So we'll have 4 plus, you bring 4 in, and then we have to multiply everything by 2, not just this one. So that becomes, see, 2 times 2 minus 2. Okay. So right here, what's going to happen to the 4s? They're going to be in square. And this is going to be 4 in cubed. So when you cube this, you're going to get what? Is that in? You're good.
I don't know what the right, like, what the right first.
Start with F or G.
Oh, I know that, but like, what part do I write first?
What comes first?
4 versus.
No, and this one's first. 7.
No, I knew that, but like, the number. Oh.
So all I did was rewrite this except place X or something. And what do you want to place X
So
for?
I put this, all of this.
Yes. Have we got multiplying? Yeah, that's what we just did. So you grab a few points on this. So maybe like, or you don't even have to have a table with this one. This is your slope, right? This is your round set. So go right here and then use the slope to go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 5. And then you take these points and just swap X and Y to derive this. Multiply this.
Come on, be
No, I didn't know.
This thing's still recording. So yeah.
You're crazy.
What?
She get from 14.
Huh?
14.
That was number 4.
I just skipped them.
You didn't even have to go
Oh,
to
I'm
inverse.
bored.
Because once you grab
Chelsea, what did you get from 14?
14, the inverse of this one.
I got a two back sequels.
Okay, how I put it.
And this would be
Why you said it like I'm stupid? I just asked the question.
How is that?
I had a very bad day this whole. I lost my keys, I lost my phone, and I tried to find them, and he took my phone from me.
Okay, well, guess who didn't need that?
I was just trying to find out what stuff was. So when I skipped the, I picked up 2 right? Yeah, so I just picked the ones I know first. If you want to.
Very main to main.
I'm not being rude.
Okay.
I think those are pretty easy to find.
So now
So
it's.
you set it correctly. And put this like several ways. So this side by three is gonna be what? Exactly equal. So this will cancel out and you'll have a 2 on the outside. So 2 times negative 12 and 2 times negative 2. All over 5. Now, the only thing you're concerned with, we want these when we find F of G and G left to be what? X, or in this case, N. This is all we're focused on. We don't care about this other stuff. Is this going to cancel out to be just N? Okay.
-4 divided by 5. Oh, no man.
So just put that, stop it.
So I ain't got to finish.
Or if you can see that it's not going to be N, and it's not, so then the reason doesn't matter, you can't combine it with this. -4 divided by 5 is not 1.
Thank you.
Don't give yourself Oh, thanks. That'd be a nice long video of nothing.